Hello and welcome to Halifax. Let's go and have a look round. This here is Halifax Town Hall. It was designed by a bloke called Charles Barry, who also designed the Houses of Parliament in London. This tower and spire is 180 feet tall, and the building itself opened in 1863. You can see on the clock up there it's got 1862, so that was when they were still building it. They still had a bit left to do. Let's have a look at Halifax Town Hall. This amazing building built in sandstone, classical architecture. Guess how much it cost to build in the first place? £50,000, that's all it cost. May have gone up a bit in price and value since then, but that was 1863 prices, £50,000. So while the building was designed by Charles Barry and the building opened in 1863, Charles Barry actually died in 1860. So it was its son, Edward Middleton Barry, who had to complete the design. And what a job they did between them. A great acknowledgement of their work. And here it is, 160 years later on. Good stuff. So Halifax is part of the Calderdale Council. It's got a population of just under 90,000. There's lots of these old buildings around the town. It looks nice. Let's have a further look. We've got some old vehicles as well. Let's have a look round the town. Here we've got Cheapside. Down there, expensive side. This building here gives a hint as to some of the past and the history there. Corn Market, the main shopping street along here, and Whitehall at the top. Southgate Chambers here along Southgate. Not Gareth. We'll have a look round more of this area. This is the entrance to the Halifax Borough Market. Impressive gates with the white rose of Yorkshire on there. It's closed today with it being Sunday, but it's an impressive looking entrance. Borough Market. What great gates. Inside you can see some of the detail inside the market. I mean, look at that old clock and the ceilings in there. That looks pretty grand. I'll have to come back here during the week sometime. It's nice, the main shopping area's got these big trees around. It makes a big difference to have greenery out and about. It helps us all. On the right here we've got the Arcade Royale. That's an impressive, fine upper area of the building there. That's the Tesco Express. Sarah works at every single Tesco's. She works at the one near me as well. She gets everywhere. Busy lady. And across here we've got Albany Arcade. I think it's the same market, a different entrance. White Rose of Yorkshire. Loving the shaping and the style of some of these buildings. If you look at the skyline with some of the up-pointing towers and turrets, etc. I mean, this building in front on Commercial Street. Trying to find out what that building is, but that balcony up there, it's impressive. Let's have a closer look. I thought it might have been. It's a theatre. This is Halifax Victoria Hall, and it turned into the Victoria Theatre. Let's have a look at these statues on the front of it. Wow. Good stuff. Look at those towers up there. The detail in these buildings. That's good. Halifax is good. And from here you've got the contrasting, you've got a similar-ish type of building over here. Looks like it used to be a bar. You've got a massive, looks like an office block building over there. And back to the old sandstone buildings down here. And this Maggie's, or McFly's here, that looks like it used to be a cinema. It looks very similar to cinema type buildings I've seen in the past. If you know, let me know in the comments. Here we've got a pub called the Courtyard. They're proud fans of the Shamen, Halifax town. Do you know why they're called the Shamen? Well, a shay is a small wood thicket or grove, and the word shay comes back from 1462, and they play at the Shay, and they are known as the Shamen of Halifax town. There you go. Just round the corner from the Victoria Theatre is the Theatre Royal building. The Theatre Royal, a replacement of an earlier theatre, opened in 1904 and 1905 for live entertainment. This is built in ashlar stone in the Edwardian style. It used to house 1900 people in the auditorium. It sadly closed in 1966. Its last two films it showed here were Ivanhoe and also Tarzan and the Mermaids. It went on to become a bingo hall. It became a nightclub, a Chinese restaurant, but also a bar. But they closed in 2007, and it's been closed since then. In July 2022, plans were unveiled to turn it into a hotel, but nothing's happened as yet. Theatre Royal, Halifax. Got an older style pub here, the Royal Oak, with the old black and white beams on the exterior. The Royal Oak. Old looking building, but on new road. Let's look at these bits here. These rams holding the crown and the tree. There we go. There's quite a lot of these little arcades with small rows of shops along them. This is Westgate Arcade with its white metal frame with a clear roof. Let's have a look further down here and see where this goes. We're coming up to the Peace Hall. Do love a weather vane. On the outside of the Peace Hall, not many people may have noticed this. Pray, remember the poor. So the Peace Hall has been visited by Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall, 2018. Queen, 2004. And this is saying how the restored building was opened on the 3rd of July 1976 by the Mayor of Calderdale. And coming into the main area of the Peace Hall, look at this. It's a concert venue. There's a concert on tonight. Singer Tom Odell's on. Appearing on that stage later on. What a great location for a concert. So this is the entrance we came in. This is the 18th century former cloth hall, Peace Hall. Look at the Georgian architecture all the way around. The balconies where all the shops are. Look at the tower over there. You can see this place from a long way off. Let's have a closer look. So one thing that people ask every now and again, and I'm going to answer it now, is why is the Peace Hall called the Peace Hall? Well, it dates back from 1779, when it was built as a cloth hall for the trading of pieces of cloth. What is a piece of cloth? That's the follow-up question. A piece of cloth is a 30-yard length of woven woolen fabric produced on a hand loom. The Peace Hall was one of the most ambitious and prestigious of its type, and now stands in a splendid isolation as the only remaining example. You can imagine how busy this place was. Wool merchants and cloth people people selling cloth back in the day, and now a venue where people can eat, drink, shop and see live music as well. It really is a perfect example of utilising space really well. Well done Peace Hall, well done Halifax, well done everyone involved. There's even no queue at the bar at the moment. As I like to not just visit places, I like to get something from them as well, so I bought myself a piece of carrot cake to eat when I get home later on. So the deli at Peace Hall, I'm looking forward to this. Upstairs to the balcony area where there's more independent shops this away. The amount of history these balconies and walkways have seen over the years. You're part of something special when you visit somewhere like this that's been going so long. It's good. There's so many little impressive bar areas and little bits where you can have a sit down and have a drink with your friends. Look how cosy this is down here. Next to the Peace Hall is the Calderdale Industrial Museum. Twerks! So at the Industrial Museum there's a plaque on the wall. We love plaques on the walls, just past this car. Calderdale TUC, in commemoration of the people who were fatally injured in Halifax on the 16th of August 1842 during the Great Strike, when many thousands called for decent wages and parliamentary reforms. That's from the Trade Unions Council. There you go. Halifax. There's so many references to wool and cloth around the town. Here's the Wool Shop Shopping Centre. This memorial here is to celebrate the Duke of Wellington's regiment. Over 300 years of service to the nation by the Duke of Wellington's regiment in West Riding. 205,000 men, mostly from West Riding of Yorkshire, who've served the regiment. There you go, thank you for your service. This is the Halifax Film Society. I wanted to see if Howard was in, but apparently he don't work Sundays no more. Nope. Oh well, another time. Next up we've got Halifax Minster. Let's see if we can find anything out about Halifax Minster. There. So let me tell you about Halifax Minster. Well, here it is. There are only 3 minsters in West Yorkshire: Leeds, Dewsbury, and this one, Halifax. There's been a church on this site since 1120 onwards, and it used to be run by the Cluniac monks. Cluniac, that's not a word I've heard before, but that's what it was. The Anglo-Saxon monastery was based on here, and the church was served by the monks, hence why it's called a minster. A church that is administered by monks and a monastery. There you go. There's a lot of mesh and coverings over the stained glass windows. Sign of the times. Halifax Minster. While you're here, click like and subscribe please. So all this walking up and down hills around Halifax is worth it. Click like and subscribe please. Awesome, thank you. The local Wetherspoons here is called the Barham Top Inn. The word Barham comes from the word Borum, B-O-U-R-A-M, which means a natural watercourse. So Wetherspoons, Halifax, the Barham Top Inn. I do love all these old buildings and a snapshot as to what history looked like back in the day. Here's the Inland Bonding Warehouse. Look how the signs have been worn down over the years, but they were erected in 1866. Thomas Shaw, Esquire, Mayor. There you go. Inland Bonding Warehouse. Next up we have the Halifax Gibbet. The Halifax Gibbet looked like this. Between 1286 and 1650, 100 people were beheaded using this device. This is a replica, not the actual thing, but it's a replica created in 1974. You may think it looks very much like what you might know as the guillotine in France, but no, the Halifax Gibbet was here 200 years before the French decided to use their execution technique like this. It's an interesting thing to have a death wielding device like this as a monument in 2024, but I suppose we have to remember the past to learn lessons from, etc. So this was for people who'd been found guilty mostly of theft. I'll have a look at the board to see what else was involved with it and some of the story, but yeah, that's interesting. Yes, this was a horrific instrument for the execution of thieves. It was written about at the time and some time afterwards, and it was an axe head fitted to the base of a wooden block. 15-foot tall posts, 4 foot high on the stone base, and a rope pulling on a pulley, allowing it to be raised, and the rope was secured by attaching a pin at the base. Once the condemned person was lying in place, the block carrying the axe was then released by either withdrawing the pin or cutting the rope. And that's what it looked like back then. And here's the list of all the names of people who were executed. This here is on Gibbet Street. It says CCTV operation, 24 hours. Drive carefully or we'll chop your head off. That wasn't the purpose. But drive carefully anyway. It's a good thing. And that's all from my visit to Halifax. Hope you've enjoyed seeing the town hall, the peace hall, the minster, the shops, the theatre, and even the odd execution device here as well. So that's enough from me. I'll say cut, but not cut. Okay, bye bye for now.